Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Honey and I make food, travel, and lifestyle videos. So if you're interested in those three topics, then I highly suggest you subscribe to my channel so you won't be missing a new upload. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing to you how I got my driver's license here in the UAE. So if you're interested, then just keep on watching. So I actually have my notes here, so I won't be missing a thing and telling you like the steps and how much it costs, everything that has to do with how to get a license here in Dubai, UAE. So the number one step that I want to tell you is to choose and research your driving school. So usually when you tell someone that you're planning to get on a driver's license, they always have their own opinions of each school. They're suggesting this and that, but do your research because you know everyone's experience is always different. Someone's experience may be good in that school and then someone has a bad experience in that school. So at the end of the day, you will be the one doing your schooling for the driving. So do your research on how much it costs, if they have a good passing rate in the RTA. So you have to check all of those things before you go and register. Also, you have to consider that each school have different prices. So you have to go to a school which is affordable according to your budget. So you can finance your driving license all the way up until you finish the RTA final road test, because trust me, it will be very costly. So there are a lot of driving schools right now which are already offering very good prices. So do your research. So now that you have chosen a school, so all you have to do is go to the center where you can register. So in my experience, I chose a driving center. So I went to one of their branches in Al Fahidi, if I'm not mistaken, and I registered there. So for the registration, all you need to do is bring your Emirates ID. And to complete the registration process, you have to do an eye test. Depends on which branch you go to. Some branches offer the eye test within the center, but others don't have that. So you have to go to an eye center and do the eye test there. And there is a fee of 160 dirhams for the eye test. And once you get the result, then you have to bring it to the registration counter and then present it there and complete the registration process. So as for me, when I did the registration, I already paid for the registration fee, the online classes, and the theory exam. So the fee that I paid for the registration, the theory class, and the theory exam is around 1,500 dirhams. I paid it in one go, so then everything will just, you know, go as smooth. So now that you have completed the registration, then the next step is that you have to do theory classes which are done online. Before the pandemic, I think the students were going to the schools and attending the classes there. But right now, due to the pandemic, they have done everything online. So you just have to register online and access the online classes on their website. And you just have to complete, I think, all the 16 classes, which is around 30 minutes, and every class, after completing one class, then there is like a 10-item exam after. So you'll just have to pass that. I think you have to get 70% right of the questions, and then you can proceed to the next one. As for me, I completed all of the classes in one day. I did it on one Friday, which I am off, and I completed all of the classes in one go. So right when you complete the classes, then you are now eligible to apply and book for a theory test. So for the theory test, you have to go to the center and present your booking or your reservation, and then you have to take the test for like 30 minutes, and then after the test, then you just have to go to the counter and see the results if you've passed or not. So passing the theory test is like vital, or is important for you to proceed to your practical lessons. So you cannot go directly to practical lessons without passing the theory test. The theory test is very easy. You don't really have to study. All you have to do is to listen and internalize everything that is taught on the classes, and then it is very easy to pass the theory test, so you don't have to worry so much about it and you don't have to be nervous. Everything in the exam is everything that you've answered throughout the classes, so it's just repetitive there. So you really just have to focus on the classes, and especially focus on the questions that are asked after each class, because those are the questions that are gonna be coming out from the theory exam. So once you have completed the theory classes and the theory test and you've passed that one, then now you can book for the practical classes. So the practical classes basically just means you meet with your instructor. The instructor will give you instructions on how to properly drive around Dubai. So that's it. For the practical classes, you have, I think, options. If you have, I think, an existing driving license from your home country, then you can take lesser classes. But as for me, even though I already have like a driver's license in my home country, I didn't present it because I want to take and I want to practice more. So practicing more will really make your chances high in passing the final road test, because you get so much of experience that you get everything right already. So I took 40 classes, and for that I paid around 2,000 dirhams. Also, for the driving classes or the practical classes, you have options to go for night class or a day class or Friday or a mixed schedule. So each of these classes has different prices. But that doesn't mean also that you can go anytime in the night or anytime in the day. There is also a particular time during the day and during the night where you can do the classes. So you have to choose according to your schedule. So the day class would be around 8 in the morning until 10. So that wasn't suitable for me because I start my work at 10. So that was a scrap. The one that suited me best was to do a night class because my work is from 10 to 6 in the evening. The night class starts from 8 to 10. So I have the 2-hour gap so I can travel from work going to driving school. So see what is best for you, the proper time which you can go for so that you can complete your driving hours quickly. So also one more thing that you have to consider is that you are only allowed a number of hours to complete in a week. So say for instance, in 1 week, I get to have 2 days class, and that 2 days comprises of 2 hours each. So that is for the night class that I took. I think it's the same thing if you take a morning class. Now, if you take a Friday class only, then you only have 2 hours to complete in a week because there's just one Friday in a week, right? And then if you are gonna take like a mixed class, or I don't know how it's actually called, but there is a mixed class, then you can take up to 6 hours in a week because you can go either schedules from morning or night. So I think it's shifting. I think that's called a shifting class, but I'm not sure. So you have options so that you can play around with your schedule, and you have to really like put your time into this driving classes because they are a requirement before you can proceed, of course, to the test. So in between your practical classes, depends on how your driving is already. You will be advised by your instructor to go for a yard test or a road test that is conducted by the school. So let's talk first about the yard test. So I'm just gonna go briefly about the yard test so you will have a little bit of an idea. There are 5 things that you have to keep in mind. There is a slope or hill, there is an emergency brake, and the parking is also included there, the angle garage and the parallel parking. So you have to pass this 5 in order to pass the yard test. So for instance, if you fail a yard test that is conducted first by the school, then you have to take, or you are required to take 1-hour class for you to be eligible to take or to book for another test. And then the second test that you will be undergoing is the road assessment test that is conducted by the school. So the road assessment test has a fee of 150 dirhams. So if you fail this step, then you have to pay again another 150 dirhams so you can be eligible to take that test again. So as for me, I passed the road test that is conducted by the school one time. So I don't actually know if you're required to take more classes in order to be eligible to take a road assessment test that is done by the school. So these two tests can be interchanged. So depending on you or depending on your instructor or what he tells you, you can take the yard test first or you can take the road test first. As for me, he advised me to take the road test first because I was comfortable already driving around. And that's why I passed the road assessment test that is conducted by the school at one time. And then I had a little bit of a problem with the yard test because it's quite hard. So once you've passed the two tests that is conducted by the school, you will have to go to a highway class that is done by the instructor. So once you've completed the highway class, then you will be eligible to take or to move forward to applying the RTA yard test. So basically, the RTA yard test is exactly the same as how it's done by the school, but it's just that it's conducted by the Road and Transport Authority. So for the yard test, since it's a little bit long, I will be making another video about it, and I will be linking it down in the description box below so you can check it after this video, because if I include it here, then this video will be very long. My suggestion would be really to pass the yard test one time, do your best, practice, listen to the key points that your instructor is telling you so you won't have to pay more if you fail it. As I've said earlier, there are 5 components in the yard test. Even if you fail just one of the component, then you will have to pay for the full amount of the test, although you don't have to take any more the other things that you've passed. And then when you've passed the RTA yard test, then you will be eligible to proceed to the RTA final road test. So for the school, it's either you can do a yard test or a road test first, but for RTA, the yard test must come first, then the final road test. So this just means that if you don't pass your yard test for the RTA, then you can never ever proceed to a final road test. So you really have to do your best. So for the RTA final road test, you will have to book for the schedule. There is also a fee for the test. It's around 300 plus dirhams if I'm not mistaken. If you pass the RTA final road test one time, very good. But if you don't pass the final road test, I don't mean to laugh or anything like that, but I just remembered my experience because I didn't pass it one time. I passed it on the second time. Be ready because it will really eat a lot of your money. It is an automatic 800 dirhams on top of what you've already paid for. Because in order for you to be eligible to take another final road test schedule after you fail, you are required to take 4 hours of classes, and the 4 hours of classes would be, like for instance for me, I took the night class, which is 160 per hour. 160 times 4 plus the fee of the road test will be your total fee before you can book the next one. So that is really a lot. So that's why I'm laughing, because that is really where your expenses will bloat if ever you don't pass the final road test. So I'm just gonna share to you quickly my experience when I did the final road test. So the instructors are very sensitive to whatever mistakes that you are making. So one single mistake and they will notice it immediately. So you really have to be alert and you have to keep an open mind and remember all of the instructions. It's a given if you don't pass the test on the first time. It gives you room for improvement, or you get to know whatever mistakes you're making. On my first take, I didn't pass. And then after, the RTA will be sending a link on your mobile number, and you will see all of the mistakes that she or he has noticed. So it is listed there. So at least you get to be aware of what mistakes you've done. So you can practice on it with your instructor once you're gonna do the lesson again, and then address those mistakes so you will avoid it the next time, and then you will get it. On my second take, finally I passed. So after passing the final road test, again, there will be a message from the RTA that will be sent on your mobile number. It will also text you that you've passed, congratulations. And immediately on the same day that you pass the road test, you will immediately get your driving license. So all you have to do is clear out all of your pending balance. Even before you take the final road test, the school will require you to pay for all the remaining balance which you have before they book you for a final road test. So by that time, I didn't anymore have any pending payments to make. So I immediately just went to the RTA office and I told her that I passed the exam. And after that, I got my Emirates ID. And then a few minutes later, that I already have my driving license with me. So the duration of me acquiring my driver's license was quite long. I remembered I registered in September after passing the theory exam. It was after 3 weeks later when I got booked for a practical class. So it really takes time and takes a lot of your patience. And there will be a lot of challenges emotionally, physically, and monetarily when you are acquiring a driver's license. What I meant when I said emotionally would be the times when you experience failures. It will really crush you. I remembered when I was doing the yard test that was conducted in the school, I failed 3 times before I completed the yard test. So imagine how many times I paid for a class for that and how many times I have to accept that, oh my gosh, I failed again. What did I do wrong? I think like I'm really doing my best, but when you are there, when you are doing, there will really be some things that will go wrong. I don't know, but I remembered that I cried a lot because I can't accept the failures that I'm experiencing with the yard test. I feel like it's so easy in my mind, but when you do it, then you create some mistakes and you waste the money and everything. Just, I don't know, I was really emotional during that time and it was hard to swallow, but I have to go through it and had to be strong. So yeah, but after I got through that yard test, when I finally passed it, then it was really fulfilling and I cried again, but it was tears for joy this time. Physically also, because driving for 2 hours after your work is already very draining to your body. When you're just sitting down and driving around and around the area or the course, it was very draining. Whenever I have classes, like every time I would come home and I would be very tired. Like imagine going to work in the morning and then rushing going to the school and then doing the driving class for 2 hours and then going back to the house. It was really draining. So prepare yourselves physically for that because it will really require a lot of your energy. And also financially, be prepared for the worst. You know, I'm not saying that you will fail and then you will pay more. I'm not saying that. If just in case you fail, have that money, have that amount to pay for the extra classes, for the extra exams, so you won't have to stop your driving classes. Because what happens is if you have that gap, if you decide to stop, to save first and then do it or resume the classes later on, you'll forget everything that you've learned throughout. Be prepared financially just in case worst comes to worst that you will fail and that you have to pay. Getting a driver's license in the UAE is definitely not an easy thing to do, especially for me. And I think for most people, they experience the same thing. So yeah, you really just have to be consistent and be strong. Pursue it because it will be very worth it once you get the final UAE driver's license. So yeah. So that ends this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know this video is quite long. I hope I can edit this out to like 11 minutes or 12 minutes because that is the duration of my usual videos. But I wanted really to share to you all of the experiences that that I have experienced, so you will also like learn and you will have an idea if you're interested in getting a driver's license here in Dubai. So if you have any questions or if you want any clarifications of what I've mentioned here in this video, please feel free to drop them in the comment section and I'm gonna address them out later. Please also share this video to your friends who are interested in acquiring a driver's license, so at least they will have an idea on the process, on how it goes. And please also, one more thing, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you aren't already, so you won't be missing my next videos, as I will be like uploading a series of videos in acquiring the UAE driver's license, and it will be very beneficial for you. At least you will get an idea about it. So thank you so much guys for watching and staying with me up until the very end of this video, and I'll see you all on my next one. Bye!